Ever wonder which ancient ritual made sober farmers laugh louder than drunken sailors? Neither did I, until I tripped over a dusty scroll that promised immortality in a barley field. Welcome, seekers of the hidden and the absurd, you've just unlocked a door few dare knock on. If you crave real secrets and spine-tingling revelations, hit that subscribe button now, because what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about initiation. Today, we dive headfirst into the Forbidden Ritual of the Eleusinian Mysteries, a clandestine ceremony performed in the shadowed groves of Greece, where only the bravest, or most curious, were ever welcomed. No fluffy myths here. We'll trace the footprints of Demeter's hidden rites, uncover the heart of an initiation so secret that oath-breakers faced cosmic consequences, and reveal why this tradition shaped Western spirituality for millennia. Picture yourself standing before the Telesterion, the grand hall in Eleusis, its stone walls humming with anticipation. It was here, for over 17 centuries, that a lineage of priests and priestesses safeguarded a rite whispered to Demeter herself. According to the Homeric hymn to Demeter, after Persephone's descent, the earth lay barren until this sacred initiation rekindled fertility, and not just of fields, but of the soul. Scholars like Walter Burkert and classicists such as Karoli Korenyi have pieced together fragments from vase paintings, Pindar's odes, and even Plato's veiled comments in the Republic, hinting at revelations so profound their disclosure carried a death penalty. Initiates, known as mysti, were sworn never to speak of what they saw and heard. Their silence was more than a legalism, it was an alchemical seal, preserving a truth too potent for casual ears. Philosophically, the Eleusinian Mysteries bridged the human and the divine. Think of it as a spiral staircase, each step, each hidden metaphor, lifted participants closer to a direct encounter with the sacred. The core symbol was the keist, a chest adorned with labyrinthine sacred geometry, suggesting that the path to enlightenment curves and doubles back on itself, inviting seekers to confront their own inner mazes. This initiation wasn't mere theater, it was an enactment of death and rebirth. Just as barley seeds must rot before sprouting, the mysti underwent a psychological planting in darkness, only to emerge into light, reborn with a deeper resonance to life's cycles. As Aristotle remarked on mystery cults, such rites offered a gentle consolation in the face of mortality, transforming fear into an intimate dance with eternity. But why did Eleusis endure for so long? Because it resonated across eras. From Roman emperors to early Christian thinkers who borrowed its symbols of mystical birth. Its secrets seeped into Hermetic texts and Gnostic whispers, reminding every generation that true power, and true peace, arises not from dominion over others, but mastery over one's own hidden realms. At its heart, the Eleusinian initiation is a three-act ritual drama embodying the cycle of loss, descent, and triumphant return. Imagine your psyche as a cathedral. The outer walls are your conscious mind, but deep within lies a hidden crypt, your unconscious. The mysteries guided initiates into that crypt, allowing them to confront shadowy fears and resurrect a luminous self. 1. The Purification. Before entering the Telesterion, initiates underwent a ritual wash in the spring at the river Cephisus. This was not mere hygiene, it was an alchemical baptism. Think of water as liquid clarity, flushing away the sediment of everyday worries. In modern terms, it's like a meditative breathwork session that calms the nervous system. The priests chanted fragments of the Homeric hymn, their voices weaving a pulse that synchronized hearts. This collective resonance established a psychic container, reminding each soul, you are not alone in your journey. 2. The Liturgical Procession. Clad in simple white robes, the mysti processed from Athens to Eleusis under torchlight, carrying the sacred hieria, objects such as stalks of barley and the secret kykeon brew. Picture a caravan crossing the underworld, each torch a star guiding you through darkness. Barley signified both death, the seed buried in earth, and hope, the green shoot that springs forth. The kykeon, a mixture of water, barley, and perhaps psychoactive herbs, blurred the boundary between ordinary consciousness and the visionary state. Participants began to feel time stretch and contract, as if the ritual itself existed outside of linear reality. 3. The Unveiling. within the Telesterian's cavernous interior, initiates even less understood what was happening. The precise sequence was zealously protected. We only know it involved the opening of the keyst, unleashing symbols that triggered a collective epiphany. Imagine a mandala of sacred geometry projected onto every retina, each line and intersection activating deeper neural patterns. A sudden flash, perhaps achieved through reflected torches or a controlled burst of light, brought everyone to a moment of shared clarity. Life, death, and rebirth are inseparable facets of the same jewel. 4. The mystical knowledge. The final element was the imparting of secret teachings, likely delivered in whispered phrases and evocative images. Here, the initiate encountered the Hierophant, the guide who interpreted the signs. Close your eyes, you hear soft words describing the descent of Persephone, the anguish of Demeter, and the sacred pact that binds human and divine. These stories were not mere myths, they were cosmic mirrors, reflecting the initiate's own inner landscape. By internalizing them, one transcended fear of death, understanding that, like the crop cycle, personal transformation requires a surrender to the dark before emerging into light. Throughout these steps, sacred geometry infused every gesture. The triple circle symbol, 3 concentric rings, mirrored the stages of the rite and the worlds it traversed: the common, our daily realm; the mystical, the inner domain; and the divine, ultimate unity. Each ring acted like a gateway, reminding the Mysti that progress requires patience and humility. You cannot leap from the outer world directly into cosmic union. As the veils of initiation lift, deeper paradoxes emerge, tensions that give the Eleusinian Mysteries their uncanny power. Let's unpack these nuanced layers. 1. The paradox of concealment and revelation. At once, everything was shown and yet nothing was spoken. The Mysteries taught that true knowledge cannot be grasped by words alone, it must be intuited. Consider a lotus flower, its beauty is visible, but its fragrance eludes description. By forbidding initiates to discuss the rite, the Hierophants preserved its ineffable fragrance. This silence forced Mysti to live the teaching rather than intellectualize it, forging a wisdom rooted in lived experience. 2. The dual nature of kykeon. Scholars debate the kykeon's psychoactive properties, but its symbolic potency is undeniable. Barley, symbol of the underworld, mixed with mint and water became a sacred potion that both grounded and lofted the mind. Ingesting kykeon was like steadying a painter's hand while also awakening the colors on canvas. It dissolved rigid thinking, yet anchored the initiate in communal ritual. Today, this teaches us that spiritual insight requires both surrender, letting go, and structure, ritual container. 3. Integration of opposites. The Mysteries wove together themes of fertility and decay, grief and joy, mortality and immortality. Initiates were shown depictions of maenads dancing in wild abandon alongside solemn corn spirits bearing sheaves. This juxtaposition reminded Mysti that life thrives in tension, like a musical chord whose beauty comes from dissonance resolving into harmony. Psychologically, Eleusis invited seekers to embrace their own contradictions, to honor grief as much as ecstasy, recognizing each as a doorway to transformation. 4. The hidden teachings in sacred geometry. Beyond the triple circle, other geometric symbols adorn temple floors and ritual implements: the vesica piscis, 2 overlapping circles, the spiral, and the labyrinth. Each shape encoded an aspect of the journey. The vesica piscis symbolized the intersection of human and divine, inviting initiates to dwell in that luminous overlap. The spiral spoke of inward and outward cycles, teaching that growth is never linear. The labyrinth embodied the soul's winding path, full of twists that echo both challenge and grace. Modern practitioners can draw mandalas combining these forms, meditating on their interlocking meaning to evoke the Eleusinian spirit. 5. The promise of personal resurrection. Central to the Mysteries was the promise that death, literal or metaphorical, need not be final. Just as Persephone emerged from Hades, the initiate discovered an inner spring of renewal. This was more than comforting myth. It was a psychological technique. By ritually dying to ego attachments, through silence, darkness, and symbolic burial, Mysti unmoored from fear. Emerging into the light, they returned enriched, their identity re-anchored in something larger than personal narrative. In contemporary practice, guided shadow work and symbolic burial ceremonies can replicate this alchemy, helping modern seekers release old identities and step into renewed purpose. 6. The legacy beyond Eleusis. Even after the mysteries were outlawed in 392 CE, their echoes persisted. Christian baptism adopted the motif of dying and rising, Renaissance artists embedded Eleusinian symbols in paintings, modern esoteric orders referenced the demiurge's hidden flame. This legacy reminds us that the core of Eleusis is perennial. When we confront our mortality and integrate our shadow, we kindle an eternal spark. With these paradoxes and hidden teachings laid bare, we grasp why the Eleusinian Mysteries endure as a blueprint for spiritual awakening. Here are 5 ritual-inspired practices, each rooted in sacred geometry and ancient psycho-spiritual techniques, to guide your own descent and rebirth. 1. Elemental Purification Ritual. What to do. At dawn, draw a triple circle sigil, 3 concentric rings, on your altar or a sheet of paper. Inside the innermost ring, sprinkle a pinch of barley or coarse salt. How it works: as you wash your hands or face with cool water, visualize the outer ring dissolving, washing away mental clutter. Then see the second ring evaporate, releasing emotional tension. Finally, feel the innermost circle melt, clearing your spirit. Tip: if your mind wanders, return to the simple geometry of the circles. Let their form anchor you. 2. Sacred Procession of Intent. What to do: choose a quiet path, indoors or out, and walk slowly while holding a filled chalice, water infused with a sprig of mint or rosemary. Keep your gaze soft. How it works: with every step, mentally repeat a short mantra. I journey into change. Feel the rhythm of your footfalls as torch beats lighting your inner path. Tip: if self-doubt creeps in, pause and breathe deeply, imagining the path illuminated by an inner flame. 3. Vision Mandala Meditation. What to do: on a blank page, draw a vesica piscis, 2 overlapping circles whose intersection forms an almond shape. In the overlap, inscribe a personal symbol, initials, a rune, or a simple seed. How it works: sit before the mandala, gazing softly. Let your peripheral vision notice the outer circles while your focus rests on the center. After 5 minutes, close your eyes and recall the shape. This bridges conscious and unconscious mind. Tip: if your thoughts scatter, return your attention to the meeting point of the circles, the locus of transformation. 4. Symbolic Burial and Renewal. What to do: write down one habit or fear you wish to release on a small piece of paper. Fold it thrice and bury it in a potted plant or the earth. Water that spot, imagining new life growing from your surrender. How it works: the act of burial echoes Persephone's descent, and instills trust in the unseen process of growth. Tip: mark the spot and revisit after one moon cycle. Observe any shifts in your mindset or daily habits. 5. Whispered Invocation of the Hierophant. What to do: at twilight, light a single candle and sit in silence. In a soft whisper, so only you can hear, speak a question of the heart. What must I let die to truly live? How it works: the combination of low light, gentle flame, and hushed voice dissolves defenses, inviting intuitive insight. Tip: keep a small journal beside you. After your invocation, spend a few moments writing any images or words that arose. Even if they seem random, they are fragments of your inner oracle. We've uncovered how the Eleusinian Mysteries purified the body and mind, guided initiates through symbolic death and rebirth, and embedded sacred geometry into every step. By embracing purification, procession, revelation, integration, and guidance, you can mirror this ancient alchemy in your own life. Try one simple rite this week: draw the triple circle, meditate on a vesica piscis, or bury what you wish to release, and notice what awakens. If you're ready to transform fear into empowerment, start today. Like this deep dive? Leave a comment on which ritual calls to you, and don't forget to subscribe for more hidden wisdom.